So you're ready to start filming your content for YouTube, but how do you do it? Do you write out your whole script and read it word for word? Or do you create talking points as an outline and kind of ad-lib from there? In this video, I'm gonna be breaking down the pros and the cons of each of these strategies, and I'll be sharing with you my favorite strategy that's going to position you as the authority within your niche. And make sure you stay until the end of this video because I'm going to share with you one more really exciting tip that's going to help you record videos easier and make you feel more comfortable on camera. My name is Melissa Mitchell and I'm the owner of Wandering Creative, an online video marketing agency and coaching business that helps you create an impact and profit online through strategic video marketing. If that sounds like your jam, make sure you hit that subscribe button below so you don't miss out on more weekly videos on this channel. Now, first things first. Let's talk about preparation. No matter which option you choose, you should be preparing for your videos and creating somewhat of an outline before you hit that record button. You want to make sure that you have your thoughts down on paper or in digital format so that you can get your points across to your audience in a really concise way that they can follow. I see it happen all the time where people jump on camera without preparing, and then what ends up happening is their videos are very jumbled and all over the place, and they end up going on rants this way and then a rant in this way, and at the end of the video, their audience is left wondering what the point of the video was in the first place. And this is something we completely want to avoid because you are the authority on this topic and you want to make sure that you're positioning yourself as that authority to your audience. So having a really concise flow of thoughts is a very, very important step to make sure this happens. Now, the first option is to write out your script completely. This means having a scripted intro and outro, the body of the content, and your calls to action. Now, this is a really great way to get started with video content because you will feel a little bit more comfortable knowing that your script is completely written out for you and all you have to do is kind of read it off to the camera. But along with that, there are a couple cons. The first one is that when people are reading a script, they can sound very robotic, which isn't what we're going for, right? We want to sound really natural. We want to sound like we're having a conversation with a really good friend through the lens of our camera. So sounding robotic is not going to help that. Now, if you do really want to still write out your script, that's totally fine. Just make sure that you're practicing your script a couple times before you jump on camera. That way you're going to sound less robotic because you're already comfortable with the material and you already kind of know what's coming up in the flow of the script. Now, for more tips on sounding natural when you're reading a script, make sure you hit that notification bell and subscribe to this channel below because I'm coming out with a video next week that's going to go through exactly that. Now, another thing that can be kind of difficult is to record yourself and read your script at the same time. Now, a great way to combat that is to have a teleprompter that actually hooks onto your camera if you're using a professional camera, or you can download apps that will actually display the words across your phone screen as you're recording your video. Now, the next option is to create talking points or an outline for you to go off of. Now, this is a really great option if you feel more comfortable on camera and you really kind of want to go off the cuff on certain items and talk directly to the camera. So what you would do here is you would have a main point that you wanted to cover, and then you would go on camera and discuss that main point in depth, but it would come from your own head. It would come from your own words. Now, the nice thing about this is it really does sound more natural because it is like someone just asked you a question on the other side of the camera and you're just responding to that main point. For my scripts, what I usually do is I'll write a brief introduction. I'll make sure to have the bullet pointed middle with those outlines there so that I remember what the flow of the video is going to be and what I really want to talk on. And then I'll go off the cuff as I'm talking to the camera to you guys just like I am right now. And then I'll have an outro as well that's a little bit more scripted that I know I need to hit these certain points. Another really important thing that I include in all of my video outlines is my call to action. So for example, earlier in this video, I told you that I was gonna come out with a video next week talking more about sounding natural while reading a script. Now, I wanna make sure that I'm adding that into my script so that I don't miss telling you guys, because if I do, then I'm gonna miss out on that call to action and you're going to miss out on that content potentially. Now, you might be thinking, okay, an outline sounds great, but how do I reference this outline while I'm filming? Well, there are a couple different options here. And because you're not using a full script, having a teleprompter in front of you might not make the most sense because it's not going to logically flow with what you're talking about, and it's gonna skip ahead a bunch and you're gonna kind of confuse yourself. So if you're going the outline route, I would recommend not using a teleprompter. Now, two really great options for referencing that outline are, one, putting it on an iPad or your computer, or printing it on a piece of paper, or even having it on your phone in your hand while you're recording, so that you can quickly like glance down at it and then back up at the camera when you need to talk about your next point. That's the way I personally do it. I leave it on my iPad and kind of have it right behind the camera here. And then as soon as I'm done explaining the one point, I like look down at the iPad and then I look back up. And it's just like a quick refresh of my memory to say, okay, this is my next point. This is what I need to talk about. So try that and see if that works for you. I know a lot of people who really like to have it on their phone in their hands so that they can just quickly glance down at it. But for me, I really like to use my hands when I'm talking, so having my phone in my hand doesn't really work for me. Another really great option is to have a whiteboard behind you and have all of your main points written out on your whiteboard so that, you know, the whiteboard is right beside your camera lens and you can just like quickly glance your eye over to the whiteboard without having to look down and then maybe feel a little bit more frazzled because you're looking down. So that's a really good option as well. I would recommend trying out all of these different options to see which one makes you feel the most comfortable while recording. Finally, the last bonus point that I promised you at the beginning of this video is how to record videos to make yourself feel more comfortable in front of the camera, and that is through an interview style. This means that you could outline your video just like we talked about before, but have questions instead of the main points, that someone can stand behind the camera and ask you those questions, and then all you have to do is respond to them, just like you would to a client if it was a client that was right in front of you asking you those questions. Lots of times for many professionals, this makes them feel a lot more comfortable because it feels like they're just having a conversation with a friend or a colleague or a client, and it really takes that intimidation of the camera out of their head. Now, the key with this is that this person really needs to stand right behind the camera so that you're not like looking over here talking to someone, right? You wanna make sure you're really looking at the lens, so they need to be directly behind the lens. And then another challenge with this is that not everybody has someone to help them out with this process. So if it's just you and you're a one-woman show or a one-man show, then this might not be a great option for you either. But just keep it in mind that it's a really great option if you're feeling really nervous on camera and you want to feel more natural in that conversational kind of tone. Overall, there is no right or wrong way to record your video content for YouTube. It really comes down to personal preference and practice. The more you practice with this process and the more you get behind the camera, the more comfortable you're going to feel, and you're going to figure out a workflow that really works for you and your personality. Like I said, I personally write out a pretty detailed outline of my videos, leave it on my iPad, and then I reference that as I'm recording. That's what I found to be the easiest and the quickest for me, but that might not be what works for you. So I would love to know if you've tried out this process and you've tried recording yourself, what process do you find works best for you? Let me know in the comments below. And if you want to learn more about creating video content that converts and attracts clients and leads on autopilot, make sure you click the link below this video to sign up for my free masterclass. Thank you so much for watching. If you liked this video, make sure to hit that like button, subscribe, and ring that notification bell so you don't miss out on future videos. And we'll catch you next week. In this video, I'm going to be breaking down the